Whoa!
That was cool.
That was super.
Thanks, Dust.
Cool. Thanks, Uncle Dust.
Thank you.
It was super, super swell.
So, welcome to Breaking the Mold, episode 130. 130. Let's see here. Dave is on assignment, but he should be coming back soon. And when I say like back soon, like next week or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks from now, no, I mean like he'll be on later. He's caught in that New York traffic, I think. And Gary is well, everybody hit up Gary because he's a no call no show, and so he deserves to be annoyed through instant messaging and text and stuff like that.
Wake up, Gary.
Yeah,
text Gary if you guys have his number. Instant message him. Say, where are you, Gary?
So we'll see what that's about. Okay, so let's just get around to it. Who do we want to start with? We have Dom or JD, and we're gonna ask
the chat.
We're gonna ask what I don't know. How's your last couple days been? Well, how was your Labor Day? How's that 3-day weekend? If you had a 3-day weekend, and I'll start with JD.
Laborless.
Laborless.
Yes. How about that? How's that good? Is that good?
Excellent.
Is that great?
So you didn't work at all?
Good. Hooray. No, I was off work. We ran around yesterday. Found a gung ho.
And Dom's gone.
Bye, Dom. Wow.
Gung ho. I heard that the tattoos on gung ho are not great. So
yeah, no.
Skinny Vinny.
Yep. It totally looks like a sticker. It looks like it was printed on his body. Hey.
And Dave's here.
Dave's here. And Dom's back.
So gung ho. All right. So like, I don't know. Skinny Vinny seemed very upset about this, and I'm assuming that the tattoos were inaccurate, not just poorly applied. Does this make sense?
Right. So I think it's just an eagle. Instead of I think the Marine logo, it has like the globe with the eagle. Yeah.
So
they chinsed on it.
So what tattoo is on it? Just an eagle?
It's just like an eagle, I think.
So it's not the Marine symbol?
No.
Gotcha.
So if this gung ho gets seen on the street, would he be accused of stolen valor, perhaps?
Maybe. Maybe.
That would be fucked up if gung ho got accused of that. He's standing on the medians and the intersections begging for loose change, and people go up and accuse him of stolen valor.
Playing his ukulele.
So much for being a real American hero, dude. Put him in his place.
He's really nice, though, other than the bunk tattoo.
Yeah. I heard his hat comes off. Is that true?
It does.
Sweet.
It pops off pretty easy, too.
The only gung ho figure I had as a kid was the one when he was in his dress blues. I think it was a mail-in figure, if I remember correctly. Came with a sword.
Yeah.
What else you get? Anything else good?
A lot of stuff.
Is that the only one that you found in the wave, JD?
Yeah. Yep, that was it.
No red ninjas?
Nope. No red ninjas yet. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of stuff. I don't want to go through the whole list.
All right, pick one more thing. One more thing.
One more thing.
Ecstatic about.
Oh boy. Well, let's see here. We found Jackie Chun from Dragon Ball yesterday. SH Figuart. Jackie Chun from Dragon Ball. Yep, the SH Figuarts.
Would you find that in Barnes and Nobles?
No, it was at GameStop. They had them.
Oh,
Thanks, Brian.
Hey, my hands are here.
With me.
My hands. I was sitting on my hands actually.
Uh-huh.
That's what I was doing.
That was Dave.
Yeah.
I usually use that on Dom. We don't have the unroll the scroll here, so.
All right.
No,
Well, good news. Dom is next. What'd you get, Dom?
Cool.
I didn't actually
Hold
get
on.
anything this
Take a
weekend.
shit break.
All right. Well, where did you not labor at, and what'd you do? Did you go to the beach again? How many hot dogs did you have?
I actually didn't have any hot dogs. I had ribs though.
Oh,
Had some ribs and brisket,
Oh,
some baked beans. I had. I did go to the beach
Have any corn?
twice. I went. What is it? I went Saturday night again. I was in Long Island.
did you have a corn dog?
No, I did not have a corn dog. I didn't have corn. They ran out of corn on the cob when we were ordering the brisket and the ribs. So,
Where did you go for brisket and ribs? That's what I'd like to know.
oh, Dave, that's not nice. Where did we go? It's I think it's a place called Big Ed's. over
Big Ed's. Is
on
that
35.
near you?
Yeah, it's about 15 minutes. Like about 10, 15 minutes away.
Okay.
They're a big barbecue place.
All right. That sounds good.
Mhm.
Sounds good. I had a couple hot dogs, but
Did you?
they were old. Like they were in the freezer probably since. No, it wasn't too long. It wasn't like 2 years, right? But they have been in the freezer probably since May. And
This year?
Yeah, May of this year.
That's not bad.
Yeah, well, geez, Gary. Let me mute this guy.
Gary.
All right. And so my colon disagrees with you, Dom, because this morning was some crazy shit, literally.
Listen.
But,
So you can't always trust the pork.
well, these are beef hot dogs.
Oh, they were beef.
Yeah.
Which one do you like? You like the beef or the pork and chicken? Like a
It's
pork?
still all the shit they scraped off the floor.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
Doesn't matter what meat it is. It's all the shit they scraped.
I go
off the
all
floor.
beef hot dogs.
All
Yeah,
beef?
dude. Yeah, dude. Ever since I got introduced to Hebrew National as a kid,
Mhm.
dude, you gotta go beef all the way. Now I don't get Hebrew Nationals now because that's freaking stupid. The fact that they give you 7 hot dogs in a package when the buns come in packs of 8. That's just
Sometimes you
ridiculous.
need an extra bun, you know?
I don't know. Maybe Just drop one down. Just pour one out of the bag on the floor for the fallen.
For the homies.
For the hot dogs that never made it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dave, what'd you do on your nice long weekend?
Oh, I don't remember. Must have been good. No, actually, what did I do? Let me think. Oh, okay. I didn't do much. I was basically homebound for the most part. But on Sunday, I went to my in-laws for a barbecue, which they in turn they also invited my parents. So we all hung out, in the yard, ate some foods, I drank a little wine, and you guys know I don't drink, so I'm a lightweight.
He got hammered.
Bro, it was like maybe an hour in, maybe like a glass and a half, 2 glasses of wine. I was just
I
like,
love you guys.
no, I was telling my wife, I'm like, I want to go smoke weed. I was like, I'm about to drive home, smoke, and come back because we live only a mile away from my parents. And she's like, you do that, David, you better fucking stay home. I'm like, all right, fine, I won't. I'll stay.
All right, fine. I'll stay home.
I should have said that. I should have said that. But my
Call me
parents
when
were
you
there.
need to be picked up. I'm gonna go hunt for GI Joes.
But it's funny with that. Like a lot of people, they can't do one or the other. I mean, they can't. Some people don't like to do both, so it's got to be
Really?
one or the other, right?
That was my thing.
What
Drinking and smoking.
at
You
the
like
same
drinking and
time?
Smoking at the
Yeah.
time. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. So
You
I
get
like
in,
to. Some people get a little too intoxicated, maybe.
By the way,
That's why I
Toy
ripped their
Mafia,
clothes
yeah,
off.
this was my morning. That's
Yes.
what happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hot dog. Ooh. Can't trust a fart.
Oh, jeez.
Did you get anything good this weekend, Dave?
I got some pieces in, for some customs. I got this battle cat Gary sent me that I had asked in the chat
Oh, that's
about.
cool. Good.
So the Moto Origins battle cat, got it today actually.
Nice.
Um,
Throw a mythic on there real quick.
What?
Throw a mythic on there real quick.
Sure.
There you go.
I ride cat. It looks good. See that?
That's not terrible.
No, I was surprised how big it was when it came. Because, going off of pictures, I thought it was a lot smaller. I mean, if you compare, I could probably compare it to the other one now if I wanted to, but it's pretty nice. It's nice. I kind of want to repaint it, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's super cartoony, but it does that well. You know what I mean? When you look at it. So.
Yep.
Dave's gonna have to paint up all his mythics into Toon aesthetic now.
Nah, fuck that. No, I'm so against that. I've honestly, when I first started painting, I have a dwarf up there that I did. He's very cartoon looking. I might as well just get it to show you guys, but I just find him too cartoony almost for mythic. Like, he looks like he belongs in Dungeons and Dragons. But see, like this guy right here, that's straight up cartoon. Like, you know,
yeah. I mean? That's straight up out of the Hobbit movie, the animated one. Yep.
It is.
I don't know if I like it as much. You know, I kind of like the idea of them being a little dirty and you know, like worn.
Great, dirty, nasty dwarves. Gary, you're here just in time.
I know. I apologize. It's been a hectic night trying to get home and get things settled here.
You fell asleep?
No, not yet. Not yet. Okay. I'm good. I got until 9:50.
Gary, anything fun over the 3-day weekend? Did you have a 3-day weekend?
I did not. I worked on Monday, so that was fine. Weekend was pretty calm, uneventful. It's when I say it's been getting a little cooler here, it's like a little bit. So instead of it feeling like 100 degrees out, it's probably like feeling like 95 degrees. So, but no, it was pretty uneventful. It's really nothing too good. I started reading a new book though. That was actually pretty exciting. I'm reading the novel about Phasma from Star Wars, and it's actually pretty good so far. I'm about halfway through it.
Who wrote it?
That's a very good question. I'd have to check and see who actually wrote that one. I think it was a female author.
Claudia Gray.
Is that her?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'd have to look and see. But it's pretty good. It's interesting. It's being told like a third party type narrative through it, and it introduces that one repainted figure that's like one of those Target exclusives.
It's the bad word.
Yeah, the Cardinal, Captain Cardinal. It's
Captain Cardinal.
But that was it. So I started reading that. And...
Slap right in against the wall.
So, Gary, I think this book would be interesting since we don't know anything about Phasma anyway, right?
Exactly, right? No, it's true, right?
Except for when she battled the Hound, in the Battle of the Thrones, but
just crossover.
And she caught the eye of what's his face, right? The guy with the beard.
That's right.
The
guy who drank the
giant's milk.
Giant's milk, right?
Guy who looks very similar at times, like a certain host of another show about Legos, right?
Yeah,
Chris. Yeah.
Are there any mentions of like Snoke and Kylo in there? And stuff
no, like it's halfway through. It is truly like it's being told from the perspective of another captain. It's I don't know if I want to give it away, but it's almost like he is competing with her. So he's trying to find a way to sabotage her career in the Empire or the New Order, right? And so it's interesting. Like, so you really learn a lot about her. It's if you guys ever read the Tarkin book, if anybody read it. It's very similar, where you get like a really detailed backstory from a young age. So, but yeah, so far so good.
Is Phasma promiscuous at all? I'm just curious.
No, you learn like they don't talk anything about that actually, but you do hear how she gets introduced to what was the Empire. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
Okay, so no romance.
No, nothing at all. Yeah.
That's like you, bitch.
Any shot they're gonna make her figures go up in value?
Yeah, I don't.
Sitting on a couple.
But yeah, so I started doing that. That's really about it. I got a couple fun things. I got the Amazon Hugh Jackman came in, who looks much better in person than he does in the photos. And then Dom sent me a package last week, so he'd found the Walmart cable. So I've got a couple of cinematic people on the shelf, and as well as the Origins, The Rock came. So Dom, thanks again. I appreciate that. I think that's it.
I haven't seen those since I saw the first batch of the ones I found. But I haven't been going out to stores this past weekend. I didn't even toy hunt this weekend.
Yeah, and I finished. The last thing we did was, I can't remember if we'd finished by Tuesday or if I was still in the. No, I hadn't finished it, but we finished Cobra Kai, season 2.
Sweet.
Yeah, we finished Cobra Kai season 2, and then I watched the 3 episodes of The Boys season 2 that came out. Which I didn't realize they were gonna, kind of not drop the whole thing all at once. So I guess that's good. It gives you something to look forward to for the next couple of weeks.
So are they doing like an episode a week or just?
They did 3, so I don't know if they're doing 3 every Friday or they started with 3 and it's 1 every Friday, but we'll see. But it's pretty good if you like season 1. There's no reason that you wouldn't just like the continuation in season 2 for that. And,
Yeah, it was pretty nutty.
And then Cobra Kai, I freaking loved it. It was awesome.
Of course you did.
I did. I had to remind myself it was all pretend.
It is good though, Gary. I can't front. It makes you feel good watching that shit.
Yeah. Oh God, it's all kinds of emotions. I felt.
Do you feel like doing karate when you're done?
No, I don't feel
Don't fucking lie, bro. Come on.
It's not that, but just.
Who cares who's listening? When I'm done watching that, I'm fucking high kicking and fucking karate chopping everything in my house.
But I did, download some of the soundtracks. So when I drive around, I kind of find myself thinking about it. So.
I
You're the best.
Have you gotten looks from any of the older chicks in your area yet? Like when you're blasting your music and you.
Oh, dude, they can't hear anything. Dude, it's still hot. The windows are up still. So I can't do that.
Hear Dom laughing in the back. That's what Dom will be doing with his sunglasses on, ready to go.
So, Brian, how about you? What was your weekend like?
Well, I spent it at home. I already told you my hot dog story. I got a haircut. Dom, you were talking about barbecue, which piqued my interest because this past Saturday was the last day for the Amish barbecue stand up in
oh, that's right.
in Kennett Square, PA, where I go for my nice weekend walks.
Was this the first year you missed, or did you go?
No, actually, this is the first year that I made it every single weekend. Because in other years, we're always hanging out together, or I'm going to see family or something. But this time, every weekend from Memorial Day to Labor Day, I made it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So, hey, hopefully I never do that again. And I actually do spend time hanging out with you guys.
The contributions probably built their barn.
Oh, yeah, maybe. But, so, I didn't get their ribs at all this year, but I did get them this past Saturday, and I forgot how good they were. And that's only because they were out of brisket this Saturday. So, yeah, since I had to get a haircut first, I didn't get there till later. So, otherwise those people go and they pick that place dry. You know what I mean?
So usually brisket is the hot thing on the list.
Yeah. And also I can't remember what I was watching. I watched the 2 James Bond films. I watched the Casino Royale, which I did see in the theaters way back when, and then I watched the Quantum of Solace
Get ready for the new one.
Get this Daniel Craig stuff under
I
my
was
belt.
Are they both Daniel Craig, or is it
Yes.
one of those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I'd never seen Quantum of Solace, but I was just in the mood, right? They're kind of like Jason Bourne movies, except he's not that good of a fighter. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. But really good. But
he's more of a ladies' man.
yeah. I kind of went. I got like, I forget what it's called. It's like when just something gets stuck in your head, and you want to go track it down. And I don't know how this got stuck in my head, but I went on a little virtual quest through my old neighborhood, and I thought you guys might find it interesting. So I was wondering if you'd like me to take you through this little trip that I went down.
Wait, would you say a virtual, like Google Maps wise?
That is correct.
Maps.
Oh wow, that's fascinating. I'm in for that.
Yeah. All right. It might not take too long.
Let's do this.
But I thought it'd be interesting because I think the end. I don't know. Let's see how you guys feel about it. So I'm gonna go through this, and I meant to mention this earlier in the chat, but I totally forgot.
Oh, look at the lovely state of New Jersey.
Yeah, look at it, right? So yeah, I live down here.
New Jersey, the state.
Yes.
In the,
No, it's the
I'm just
sixth
kidding.
borough.
in the
That's where
top
Gary's from.
of
Exactly.
Delaware. And so I grew up. I spent my wonder years, so to speak, in a town called Plainfield, New Jersey.
Yeah, buddy.
And so when I started living there with my dad, I used to like get on my bike and go for rides and go exploring, stuff like that. And sometimes I'd do this with friends of mine. Sometimes I would, go out alone, stuff like that. And you like bring. This is probably unheard of, like back in the late '80s, right, or early '90s. It's like I'm gonna bring a bottle of water with me, and this wasn't some Poland Spring bottle. Like you actually had to have a bottle and put water. You know what I mean? Back in the day, no one drank water bottles back then. But so anyway, let me.
Recycled plastic wasn't really a thing.
You ever drink water from the park
hose?
fountain?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. I've seen memes of like, if you grew up drinking this, then COVID's not gonna affect you.
You're good.
So I wanted to kind of go through like my neighborhood here. So I grew up on Marlborough Avenue.
Of course
Okay.
you did.
Yeah, and I don't know if we did this on a broadcasted hangout or if it was an unbroadcasted hangout, like maybe a couple months ago, where we did this. But anyway, yeah. So I grew up in this house here. We had this big field behind us, blah blah blah. But
Baseball field.
But
Is that
when
where the ghosts used to come out and play at night?
when I used to go on my adventures, I would go up in here, and this road right here, this Highland Avenue, there used to be these are like really ritzy houses, all the way up in this part, not down in the slums where I was living, right? But yeah, 3 blocks up, it's like fucking crazy. I didn't live in the slums, but they weren't like this, I'll tell you that. There was a person in here that had a train caboose in their backyard that they had basically refurbished. And throughout the last, I would say, 15, 20 years, when we started getting sky views and stuff, I would always try and look for it. And the reason why is because when I was riding my bike on this road, it's on this side. You could never see it. I think it's more down this way. But they had all these like shrubs and stuff, and you couldn't see in here to actually see. You could only like barely see it sometimes. And so I was like, you know what? I want to get a top view of this caboose. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see it. And then I was looking for it, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, I'm like, is it on this road? Is it on this road? I'm like, I can't. I'm like, where is it? How could I not see it from the sky? So I started doing some Google searching, And I happened to find an article in the New York Times from 1985, all right, which is around the time that I lived there. And it actually goes through and it talks about this guy who was buying up these cabooses that some train company was putting for sale because they don't need cabooses on trains anymore because they don't have people living on the train, right? And so I was like, wow, 1985, that's pretty interesting. So then I started searching, like, I gotta find this thing. And so I found this article in this old blog for Plainfield Today, Plainfield, New Jersey. And it just so happens, it says here, caboose hooks up and leaves. And this was, this was in 2006. So the guy actually moved away and he sold the caboose. And so I was like, so guys, I can't tell you, I know this is like a weird story, but I had never really seen this thing. You know, I lived 4 blocks away and I never really got a chance to see it because it was surrounded by shrubs and trees from the road, so you can never see it. So this is like the first time that I actually get to see what this caboose looks like. And so I was like sitting in my chair a few days ago, just ecstatic, like, oh my God, there it is. I can finally get to see it. And I'm not a super big train guy. Like I had a model railroad as a kid, but you know, this guy actually had a caboose in his backyard, and I'd like to know what he did for a living. But because they actually poured gravel on the road and put railroad ties and all that stuff, like in his backyard, and he refurbished the inside. And he said he had these daughters that would go in there and do their homework and stuff like that. And yeah, so there it is. So I'm not done, right? I'm not done. So I'm like, well, he sold it. Where did he sell it to? So I'm following the breadcrumbs. I'm following the breadcrumbs here, and he says that he sold it, and it went to this trip to Port Murray in Morris County. All right, where the new owner is located. So I go and I start searching a little bit longer. Okay, and I happen to come across Port Murray Post Office, an abandoned train station, right? And I scroll down. There's their post office, and look, there's the caboose.
Oh shit!
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. And so it gets even better. It gets better for me. I don't know if it gets better for you.
It gets better.
Right?
It gets better.
So here we are in Port Murray, and we're gonna find. Here it is.
Frank's comment.
Find the post office. What's he got?
Can you help him track down his real father?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh man, I've already forgotten where it is. Oh, here it is. So I go to this Port Murray, and they would drop it right here. They come down a little bit more.
You better take a drive out here, Brian.
And boom, there it is. Like this, I know where this caboose is that I've always wanted to see in real life, right? I've always wanted to see this in real life, and so there it is.
So who
Now, that's a
bought it?
caboose.
Who bought it? The post office?
I
Or
don't
they
know.
just-
Maybe
the
that's where they
county?
keep it. And maybe some. I don't know. It didn't say
probably some
who
guy,
it was.
some neighbor.
But I wanted to zoom out here real quick. All right. I'm sharing this. I'm opening my life up to you people. This stuff is important to me. All right. So I'm going to zoom out. And Port Murray. I wanted you to see what town is close to Port Murray, right? Where this is? Do you guys recognize this town name? It's
I can't
called
see it.
Hackettstown. It's
Mhm.
called
Yep.
Hackettstown.
Yeah.
we all know who lives in Hackettstown, right?
We all do.
So it turns out Dust lives 11 minutes away from this caboose. And so I am now super ecstatic. It turns out like on my way to Dust's house, I've actually driven right by this damn thing. And so now I'm like super excited because the next time I go see Dust, I'm going to go see this caboose that I've always wanted to see and never got a chance to see, even though it just was like a few blocks from my house.
You better take a picture right like in front of it.
I'm excited for you to leave your house, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, speaking of that, the next time you come visit, there's a town, Mechanicsburg. They have the same sort of thing. Like I've always known this caboose to be in, like, it's in a back alley, like right off the main drag. But they did the same thing. They're like, it's along train tracks, and then they put like train tracks there, and now it's like all built up around it, and there's like sidewalks and shit. But it's part of the town now. And I don't know what it was used for. It was some sort of security building or something. But it's always been there. If you want to see more cabooses.
I tell you, when you start Googling and start looking up train enthusiast stuff,
oh yeah,
dude, that was a rabbit hole I started going down. That was yep. And
they take videos of trains coming in and out, different types of trains.
Sure, trains in and out, baby. And that's what I did this weekend.
Wow.
All right.
You need to get out of your house.
Look, guys.
Brian, I'm very curious on how long did that whole ordeal take you? Is that like a 2-hour investigation, or was that like a 6-hour investigation?
Oh, it was definitely over an hour.
Okay.
Sure. Over an hour for sure. But I gotta say,
so you can probably find Frank's father within like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, sure. You just type in Frank Senior in the internet, and it'll be pop right up. Right. For sure. Oh well, yeah, I'll tell you what. If his dad lives in a caboose, I'll fucking find him. Oh man. Anyway, guys, I was extremely ecstatic. I couldn't believe it. All those years I wanted to get a look at that damn thing, and here it is. I find it on the internet, and then I find it 10 minutes away from one of my friends' houses.
Park next to Dust's place.
Yep. So that's my story. I didn't get any toys.
Dust is gonna get all excited when you come over next time.
I know.
And he's like, we're gonna go to lunch and we're gonna go see some caboose.
That's right.
He's gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna see some caboose and some titties, and you'll be like, no, motherfucker, the caboose that I grew up with.
The red caboose.
The red caboose.
And
I'll go with you, Brian. I'll smoke that caboose.
All right, sounds good, man.
I'll be there,
Hot
buddy.
box.
Let's see if we can push the caboose down the rail. How long? How is there a long rail there, or is it on the rails, or?
It's in caboose.
I mean, I don't know. I closed all the windows,
Caboose.
Tom. Don't make me go find that.
No worries,
caboose.
no worries. We'll find out, Brian.
All right. So we went around the yard and we did that stuff. And Gary, do you have something you want to talk about, or do you want me to keep talking?
No, I'll talk for a few minutes, and we don't have to go for too long. I just, was thinking we could maybe continue and elaborate a little bit on some of our nostalgic properties, and maybe that'll kind of spark some other thoughts for us. I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe the week before that, we were talking about some specific lines, right? And went through a few of them, and I'm just curious for you guys, I wrote down a few more as I was thinking about them, the last couple of weeks at work. Some of the lines that maybe aren't quite as popular or, aren't as much recognized or remembered, but kind of similar, it was fun. I had a good time last time we talked about it as far as what of these lines, did you, number one, collect or have any of the toys? And if you did, what was your favorite, character or vehicle or person to play? And was that your favorite person, from the property, or was that just like what you had, right? And then did you have to improvise for the rest of them? So I think we did, right? We did some Thundercats discussion, right? We did G.I. Joe, we did Star Wars, and I think we hit Mask. I remember talking about some of the vehicles, right?
Right.
Well, so I guess we'll start with the big one that has sparked a lot of our original conversations, and we'll talk about the Transformers, So growing up, what you
Hey,
guys
real
have?
quick. Real quick, Dust is texting us and he's saying, Dust found the caboose. He goes, I'm going to burn it down. It's the caboose that Brian will never see. That's just wrong.
You'll never get your moment.
Oh, dude, I was so close to getting in the car and just driving up there, but my car's making a weird noise. I got to get it looked at.
We're gonna see a picture of Dust with the caboose burning and a weenie on a stick.
Molotov cocktail. Molotov cocktails and some marshmallows.
Listen, if you've ever listened to One Too Many, man, you better hope that there's some of those New Jersey style turkey vultures around that thing there when you get there.
What's that?
Why?
What's that about?
I'm just saying, those seems like the turkey vultures in New Jersey are not afraid of anything. So if they've taken a liking to that caboose and are anywhere near it, Brian's not going to get very close to it.
You guys ever fucked with a regular turkey before?
Oh, they're awful.
They're the worst fucking things in the world.
You know what a group is called, right?
No wonder we eat them.
Yeah. My ex-wife, her father owned a bunch of rabbits, a turkey, and some random animals. And he had a turkey, and that thing used to chase me. I used to have to beat it away with a stick.
Dude, well, they call a group of turkeys. It's called a gang. Literally, it's like a school of fish, right, or flock of birds, pride of lions. It's a gang of turkeys. And when we lived in Massachusetts, the wild turkeys were everywhere, and they didn't care about anything. And when you see those things up close, they look like. In Jurassic Park where he's like, hey, dinosaurs are related to birds. I agree. When you see those things up close, it's like it's very...
they try to kick you, too.
Very raptor-like
They try to,
looking.
Come at you like this.
Who's opening up a treat?
It's not... I'm sorry, I got an ice pack on my arm right now.
Oh.
Ooh, the story thickens.
What Christina do to you, bro?
I know. She yelled at me. And then
Gary's late for some reason.
So I didn't realize it was.
I got jumped by 3 gangs of turkeys and tea.
Exactly, that's really what happened. Right?
Did you do the flying elbow on somebody, Jerry?
But
Vendetta was in T-neck looking for the T-neck too.
All right. Well, yeah. So Transformers, right? Long before we had third-party options. And right, we had NP anything. You just had good old fashioned, Transformers, and we'll start with the regulars, not any of the KOs or the '80s style knockoffs. Or
damn,
I was gonna say we won't even talk GoBots, but what about what did you guys have?
Half my collection was Zybots.
Zybots, right?
We want to go first.
So, who's going first?
I'll go first. So 7th birthday. The 6th birthday.
Wow.
It was Jetfire. G1
Jetfire.
So that was always my favorite one. And then later on, Snapdragon, just because he had 3 modes, and it was one of the most fascinating things to me as a kid.
Man, you had some cool ones. That's cool.
Anyway, who's next?
I'll go next. I've told this story numerous times. I used to carry around Beachcomber with me all the time for some reason. I guess because he was really easy to transform and he was blue. That was like kind of my favorite color.
And he rolled.
Yeah. And even when he came out in the G2 green color, I wound up getting that one and keeping that one around for a while. I still think he's somewhere to be found, like either in my mother's house or something. Because it was in my 20s or 30s. It was still there. So I'm just wondering where it is.
So
And
was he your favorite to play with, or was it just who you
it
had?
was just I just happened to have him with me.
Gotcha.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was just like that one that if you had to take one out the house, it was him. Plus, he had no weapons like that I remember, so you didn't have to lose anything.
Yep.
And my parents were big about me not taking anything with weapons out the house. So, yeah, man.
You're not walking out with that Megatron. What are you doing? Get back here.
Right.
But let me tell you, being at Mike's house, the few weeks that I was there, got to playing with all those G1s. Like, I forgot about half of those toys that I actually had. You know, you think about the characters and you wonder, you're like, did I have that? I don't know. It's not until you have it in hand and you transform it again, or you're like, yeah, I had this fucking piece of shit. You know what I mean? But I didn't have half the ones he had though. Like, I never had. I had like a hand-me-down Optimus that was missing like one of his hands. I had. I'd never had a Megatron because I don't know if my parents didn't buy it for me or if it was a hard toy to obtain. But I never had a G1 Megatron or a Galvatron for that matter. But I had like everybody else. Like, I had always had the good guys, and the bad guys were always just random ones. You know,
Yeah.
they weren't like the main ones. It wasn't Soundwave or Megatron and stuff like that. So that's what I recall.
Mine was Soundwave. That was
yes.
my figure of choice that I walked around with or had in my back pocket or something. It was just
Wait, Soundwave in your back pocket? What kind of pants are you wearing?
jeans.
That's not a big.
It's the same shape as his fucking wallet now, Gary.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Right? It stands a wallet. That's right.
G1
All right.
Soundwave's
This
not
is-
as big as you think it
This
is.
is
Yeah,
Doc.
no, I guess that's true. Yeah, if you transform them into cassette mode, that's okay.
A micro cassette player.
Yeah.
At that.
That's what it is. Yeah, and it always had buzzsaw in it, so I didn't have any of that. Whether it was Laserbeak or buzzsaw, I don't know whether I had. If I had any of the cassettes, I probably lost them. But I had one of the birds. I can't remember which one, but
He came with Buzzsaw.
yeah,
Yeah.
he did come with buzzsaw. Yeah, I know. But that was the one, and I did have several. I didn't have a Jetfire. My best friend, my next door neighbor, had a Jetfire, but I didn't have a Devastator, which I always wanted because my good friend had it, and so jealous Christmas Day when he showed it to me, and I was like,
Dude.
wow, he had like the gift. He got the gift set version. So
I had the same thing. I had a friend of mine in grade school, and then he had a younger brother who was like the year behind us, and it was a small Catholic grade school, so there was like only one class per grade, and they each got like the six pack gift set for Christmas,
Yeah,
like both boy, and they didn't care. Like they were like they didn't appreciate it. And I was like, same thing. Down when I saw it, I was so jealous to see all six of them, all six Constructicons together in a box. I was like, oh, that's freaking awesome.
had Shockwave, had Megatron. Megatron was funny because we got it. It came in gun mode. It was like, kept it that way for a while, and then we tried to transform it into robot mode, and it never got there. And it stayed as a mishmash of loose parts or whatever never got it to robot mode, and didn't even bother putting it back into gun mode. So.
A good thing though, right? Because in robot mode he looks silly.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, even when they MP'd him and they did the MP05, they just copied that one and
Pretty much.
did the same thing
blew it
over.
up, yeah.
Stupid, because that thing's such a piece of shit,
Yeah.
But both
actually-
of them,
it
the
actually
gun modes
remind-
are better than anything else.
It actually, as you mentioned that, David, it reminded, like when I bought that one figure, and I actually, because that one came in robot, right? And you had I transformed it into gun, and then I one time I attempted to change it back from gun to robot, and I just couldn't do it, and I said forget it. And the funny thing is I ended up selling it off at a convention, and as I was setting up for the day, the prior day for the convention, I paid a kid like $10 to basically transform it for me so I can put it back in the box. Which is fun.
Yeah, it's funny you talked about how the MPO 5, is that what it was?
Yes.
Basically borrowed the same, yeah, the majority of the transformation from the G1. That's what was always for me so fascinating about the MPs, like the Make Toys, the DX9, even Apollyon, right? It's like
Yep.
they found new ways to
Mhm.
transform him, considering how terrible the that G1 transformation was with those spindly metal parts to break his shoulders apart, and it's just a big mess. And it was it? I think it was Apollyon. You still split the handle in half, and they found a way to fatten his legs. I mean, I never owned the figure, so I don't quite.
I had it. I never transformed
Me
it.
never.
Yeah.
Never transformed.
I did not want to break it.
Then the Make Toys had like the one leg in front of the other to make the gun handle.
Yep.
That was
Mhm.
pretty wild. Yeah. So.
I still have that one.
Yeah, I have
I
it.
like it
Make
for some
Toys, yeah.
reason. Yeah.
But I was always my favorite things were the jets too. Like I had the jets, I had all the jets, but as the years gone by, they just were basically fuselages without wings, because those things tend to be lost or fall deep in the crevices of your toy box or your couch.
That's crack.
Yeah, your ass crack, and then basically never
Your
to be
ass
found. But it was always I was just fascinated with the jets, especially like in the cartoon, and just when I got the toys, I just enjoyed the jets, and they were always heavy to me. When a kid, there's like very heavy die cast figures, so enjoyed them. But never got into eventually never got into like the headmasters or anything into Target Masters and stuff like that. I would guess Nintendo started coming, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and hanging out with friends and girls, and
That
playing
wasn't the
sports.
question, though.
I know.
Right.
Mhm.
But fuck you, Dave. Jesus Christ. Okay, continue. Next, Brian.
All right. I forget. What's the first question I answer?
So just
I'm gonna
who
fucking
was your
drive up there
favorite?
right now and kick your
Yeah.
ass.
So who was your favorite of the characters of the toys that you actually had?
Oh, the toys I actually had.
Yeah, and was that the person you the character you always had to play with, or you had to be that character if you played with any friends, anything like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Optimus Prime, of course, but yeah, it's funny. My I didn't get Optimus Prime right away. I'm sure a lot of people had this issue, right? I guess he was kind of hard to find in stores or whatever. So my mom knew I loved him, and I was living with my mom at the time, and she's like, I got it. I can guarantee that we get one by ordering one through the Sears catalog. Remember that wish book?
Oh, yeah.
Wish list?
Oh yeah.
And the wish book, I think they called it, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly. But the only problem is it wouldn't show up until after Christmas. So I had to make do with some like GoBots thing that was kind of like a truck. It was a black truck. Didn't even look like Optimus at all. But anyway, I would pretend he was Optimus.
Mom, this ain't Optimus Prime.
I mean, she promised that it would be coming later, and stuff like that. But I remember this one time, my not yet stepfather. We were out at the Blue Star Shopping Center, Dom.
Yeah.
In,
Toys R Us.
Yep. And we went in there, and it was before Christmas, or maybe, you know what, it might have been after Christmas. I can't remember now. But there was like a whole end cap of Optimus Primes. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, he's right there. Let's get him now. He's like, no, your mom ordered him. He'll be here soon. I'm like, he's right there.
Oh, that's tough.
And he was $20, man. $20.
Mhm.
Without batting an eye, I'd buy 5 of them and put them in my cart right now, kind of thing for $20.
Right.
But I can't imagine what $20 meant back in 1984. I have no idea. But
1984 is probably the equivalent to like 100 and something bucks. Right?
Probably.
$120. You think?
Probably.
Because the average paycheck back there was like $150 back then. Like, you know, so I
I
don't know.
guess.
Minimum wage was like $4.
It's
It
weird
was
though. Like,
less.
Probably, yeah, probably.
It
Yeah.
was less, yeah.
Yeah.
It's $5.25.
yeah.
That's
So-
when we were growing up. That's what I was making
Yeah.
at fucking 15. What the fuck you talking about? Rolling pretzels making $5.25 a fucking.
But yeah. So I mean, that was that, and I had I didn't have all the Dinobots as a kid, but
Oh,
Sludge
yeah.
was. I think Sludge is my first official Transformer.
Hey,
Uh,
Brian, were did you grow up in a house with the rest of your siblings, or were you there by?
I was there by myself because I was the only sibling.
All right, I know you have like step, right? That
Right.
happened after the fact, right? At what age did you ever live with them, or no?
Oh no, I never lived.
Oh,
with them.
okay.
Never lived with them.
I just wanted to know how it was like sharing your toys if you had to.
No, but basically my friends would come over and they'd bring stuff, and I forget who I was talking to, but basically in the house I lived in with my dad, I mean it's just me and him, and there was no need for dining room furniture and stuff like that. So the dining room was basically the playroom. Dom, this
Nice.
was the story that you told a couple weeks ago, I think,
Yes.
at your friend's house, right? So
Mhm.
basically my dad put a big thing of plywood in the corner, and when you're done playing, just threw all your toys on the big plywood thing, and that's basically how it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole dining room was ours, and it's funny. I can remember that room being so huge, and the carpet was blue. It was like a big sea of blue. My friend on one side of the room, I'm on the other side of the room, and I remember going back to that house when I was older and we were selling it, just like, wow, this room is so much smaller
Yeah.
Oh,
than I remember.
sure.
But yeah, so I was a big fan of the mini bots, Gary. They also went into the Crown Royal bag, every once in a while.
Well, there you go. Yep.
And
Pimpin'.
I loved them. They were just like a rainbow of colors. So yeah, Beachcomber was blue, Cosmos was green. Cliff Jumper was in and out of my life a few times. I don't know. He was like that Optimus finger that Caleb would lose every once in a
Mhm.
while. And then recover.
So he'd elude you, very similar to the way he has an MP scale, right?
I guess so. Yeah. So I had, but I had Windcharger for Red, and of course Bumblebee and stuff. And Huffer. I was a big fan of Huffer. I don't know why, but yeah, those guys, they're just nice and small and all the same size, and like I said, a lot of different colors. I was always a big fan of the mini
What were
bots.
those other ones, Brian? Not the mini bots, but like they were even smaller than them.
The
Mini cons.
Oh, the
The
mini,
Minicons?
yeah, the mini cons. Yeah, they came with. I think it was like the second releases of the with the mini bots it came out with, like the little figures that just
Yeah, they
popped
were.
out. Yeah,
They were a little bit bigger than Micro Machines and smaller than
no Micromasters.
Micro
yeah,
Masters.
yeah, yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. Yeah.
They were
Oh.
packaged with like eventually a run of those of the mini bots. Like they were right side by side.
I still have one somewhere. It's the one that looks like the Cobra Viper, the blue plane. I think
Hmm.
Oh
it
yeah.
looks just like that. It's that the Cobra blue with the red little canopy or whatever.
Yeah,
It's dope.
Yep. And I like because I could jam them all in Optimus's trailer. Like you
Oh,
could fit like
yeah.
6 mini bots in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is always good times. I never had a lot of the bad guys. I did have Thundercracker, and I just thought it was so stupid how he basically just took all the parts off of them to
Right.
transform them,
Yeah.
put them back together.
So disappointing.
just you kind of swizzle the head through the
Yeah.
body, and then
I did like the jet mode. Funny story about Jetfire. I mean, I'm never gonna have another opportunity to tell this story, but my best friend Tarek, he lived up the street from me, up on Marble Avenue, and he got Jetfire for Christmas, or maybe it was his birthday. I can't remember. And so it was weird. He was down at my house, and he told me to go up. So this is kind of strange. He told me to go up to his house to go get it and bring it back to my house so he could play with it. Now, don't you think that's odd? Like, why would he not go to his house, go get it, and bring it back? But instead, he sends me up there to go get it and bring it back. So, on the trip back from his house to my house, it broke,
Oh,
Oh.
did he set you up?
and it was the tab in the middle that basically kept them together,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I mean, you're playing with this stuff. You don't realize something broke, especially if you never played with a transformer before. You don't know how it moves or anything. And so I wasn't transforming it, but it just kind of came apart on the way home. And then he's like, "Oh my God, you broke it! You broke it or something." I'm like, "No, I didn't. I just brought it." So I kind of wonder. I wonder if he did set me up. But about what was it, 5 years ago when that Generations Jetfire came out? Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, I actually mailed him one with some. I mailed him that and some IDW comics to go with it. With it was like the Stormbringer issue, I think, with Jetfire on the top. And then he actually calls me. He goes, "So are you admitting that you broke it?" I was like, "I admit nothing."
Oh, jeez.
So he still remembered.
Oh, that's awesome.
As he scratches you off of his kill list.
Yeah.
Right.
People to kill. Brian.
What movie's that? And he wipes the lips. He puts the lipstick
That
on.
was
Billy
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 Madison.
Madison.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it was also Soundwave. I'll just share, and I think I mentioned this one other conversation came up for nostalgia stuff. But my aunt, my godmother, had got it for me for my birthday, and it was similar to the Wish book, Brian, where you would cut out like pictures of stuff. And so I had done just that. Like I cut out pictures of Soundwave and sent it to her, and so she knew exactly what character I wanted. She ended up getting it for me for my birthday. And then I think it was later that year, she was visiting us in Ohio from Chicago, and like little present surprise she brought with was like both packages of the cassettes, right? So I got the Ravage and the Frenzy and then Rumble and Laserbeak for them, and I actually still have them. And I'll tell you, the day that I found out that his backpack opened and his weapons became like the batteries,
The batteries,
to go inside.
yeah.
Like I swear, I don't ever remember seeing it in the instructions anywhere. I don't think it told you you could do that. But I felt like I discovered some super secret, just by randomly playing with it and kind of just opening it up and realizing what it could do, and it kind of hit me like I thought I discovered something. But my broken toy story, no pun intended. I had gotten a yellow Bumblebee, and if you guys remember, right, they did a yellow Bumblebee and a red one, and then I think Cliff Jumper, right? Was it Cliff Jumper that came in red and then yellow? They kind of flip-flopped
And
them.
then Bumble Jumper. Yep.
Bubbles.
Yeah, and then you kind of get into some of the rarer ones. But I have a younger sister, so she's 5 years younger than me. And this is like, I think she was in kindergarten then. So it's like when she did like those half days where, I don't know, back in my youth, like kindergarten, it was like they would go for like a morning session for half the year, and then they'd switch to the afternoon group for the other half. But she had started playing with my yellow Bumblebee and broke it. So my mom replaced it for me. And when I came home from school, like the next day, she'd gotten a replacement, but it was the red one. And I remember thinking how cool that was that, I had the yellow one, and it was like she broke the arm off, how the arm just kind of popped off. So you could kind of still tuck it back in for like the Beetle mode. But again, it was just one of those things. I'm like, how do I have a Bumblebee that's red? I'm like, I thought it just seemed so cool to me. Like I didn't care that it didn't match the cartoon anymore. Stuff. So, but Soundwave got a lot of play. I think because for a G1 toy, he's so articulated, right? In comparison, when you look back, you could actually in robot mode, he could actually do stuff with him. So yes, he just got used for everything, and that's like one of the few original toys I still have left in my collection, with all the cassettes and the bird, they call them the Condors, unbroken, the chrome laser weapons, right? You know how the little like laser piece breaks off in all the original ones, and then all the reissues have the shortened safety versions, which look pretty crappy. So I still have all of them. Interesting.
Hmm.
Well, let's do. I'll do one more, and then we can move on to a topic. But I thought this might be interesting based on the character personas. But what about He-Man and Motu? Who's your favorite of the, if you had any of the toys, but really who's the character you had to play with? Not who you liked, but who did you end up playing with all the time?
It was He-Man for me, easy.
Regular or battle armor or one of the other variants?
Battle armor. I didn't
Yeah,
get. I
battle
didn't think I
armor.
had the original. I had the battle armor. That's the. That's the. That's
the
the one
dial?
that's the damage.
Yeah.
Right? You clank it and
Okay.
fucking yeah.
That's cool. It's funny, Dave. That was my go-to He-Man also because I didn't have the original. So I had an original Skeletor as a kid, and then I ended up with the battle armor He-Man was my version.
Yeah,
Also.
same here. I had a bunch. Like I had a bunch of He-Man figures, but I didn't have them all. So it was all random. Like I remember having like certain characters, but never having like the main cast. Like I never had a man at arms. I think I had an Orko, but didn't have a Tila. And it's like the same thing now. I have a fucking He-Man and Orko, and I'm still missing the same fucking characters. I'm grown now. I could buy what I want. I still don't have a fucking.
Do you remember
Still
the
don't have
Orko came with that zip cord, right? So he could spin.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
then he had that little magic trick with those little like yellow discs with like the pictures on them that you could actually perform.
That I don't remember. I remember the
Yeah.
spin thing.
Yeah, he came with spin. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm not crazy. I have to look at a picture. Pretty sure he came with like this actual magic trick that you could like, it's like one of those little silly magic things you could play with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had the battle armor. He-Man, Skeletor. Had a couple of the characters. Really didn't. It was like one of those lines that I really didn't like. I had outside just like Thundercats and stuff, but I never really gotten involved into it that much. Watch the
Dom,
show.
Dom, these last two shows, right? You said, I'm just curious because like nowadays you have everything, right?
Yeah.
What was your go-to thing back then?
Oh, Star Wars.
It was always Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Star Wars. If you looked in my toy, you looked in my toy, like the toy box that we had, me and my brother, it was majority Star Wars. We had a lot of the vehicles that were just around the room. Like we had the Imperial Walker just sitting in the corner of our room by our dresser. Millennium Falcon was on top of our TV.
Nice.
So stuff like that. Like it was mostly Star Wars because my parents just one year just went balls to the wall, just bought everything Star Wars, and we would have a flavor of everything else, but Star Wars was kind of the go-to. Anything that it came out with during the years that we were kids, my parents got it for us. So.
And see, it was the opposite for me because I think Star Wars wasn't huge for me. You know what I mean? Until I got a little bit older.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started watching all the movies that I cared about it.
Yeah, we were close to having pretty much most of that line, most of the collection that they put out, because if it was Christmas, from Christmas to birthdays, my parents were buying us Star Wars.
But the He-Man stuff, you guys weren't crazy about.
No, we it was just more of a if it was those types of toys, but we got some Transformers during Christmas and stuff like that, but that was more of we're going to the store and we run into a Toys R Us, we pick up one or toys here, one or a few things here and there, begging my mom to buy this because our friends had it, it was something that our friends had, and we wanted to just enjoy some of those characters or some of those toys. So it's kind of but if it was my parents buying something for us, and it was Star Wars, if it was like a birthday present or Christmas presents, so majority was Star Wars. But yeah, it was like I specifically remembered Manny faces. I like to switch the faces on Manny faces, but like the battle armor He-Man, I remember that specifically because I just used to just flick it between damages and all that stuff by your hand because it was so easy, and just fooling around with the figures. I don't think I had any of the females. I definitely didn't have Tila or Evelyn. But
girls.
Yeah, nah, it was something. If like I said, whatever whatever we didn't have, my friend next door or my friend down the street kind of had make the whole. So it's like somebody in the development would have the rest, and we would just play and bring whatever we had and just participate and have fun. So we were kind of the Star Wars house. So a lot of fun.
The Star Wars house.
Who wants to go next?
All right, JD. Yeah.
Well, I'm on the same bandwagon. I had my go-tos were the Battle Armor He-Man and Skeletor. I had both of them, and I always played with them in the slime pit.
I did anybody of you
Always.
guys had like Castle Grayskull? Like I had a Castle Grayskull.
I had a Castle Grayskull. I didn't have a Snake Mountain.
Nope, I did not.
No.
My next door neighbor had a Snake Mountain. So
Dude, I had one of those vinyl covered like cardboard, figure cases they made back in the day,
yes,
right?
Yes, yep.
They made and it was an official Motu one, and when you opened it up, it had like basically like the 4 compartments, right? So when you opened it, it kind of had like a floor in it you could kind of play. So I had to make do and pretend that was a Castle Grayskull because that was it.
Did you have the bed sheets?
I'd not.
I had the He-Man bed
I
sheets.
think
Yeah,
I had
those.
He-Man.
I think
Star
my
Wars.
cousin had the He-Man bed sheets. I definitely had the Transformers bed sheets. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Had
My
some
mom
Care
sold-
Bear bed sheets too, but we're not going to talk about that.
Care Bear stare.
Dave peed to bed in his
Yeah.
Care Bear.
I probably did.
Who's being Grumpy Bear today?
So it's interesting that 4 out of 5. Brian, how about you? Who was your guy or girl or
For
creature?
He-Man,
Yeah.
I didn't have many He-Men, but I always liked Man in Arms because he had that armor on his arm and the leg, and I was really fascinated about how it molded to the arm for
Mhm.
some reason, like that shin guard, like it molded around his boot and his kneecap. I don't know. I always thought that was kind of fascinating for some reason. I don't know why. And I always liked he had that smushy head, and I always like try to jam his face into the front part of his armor thing. I don't know why. So, what do you see in there? What are you looking in there for? But never had a Castle Grayskull.
Oh.
My favorite, my favorite vehicle though was that battle ram with the it shot those orange missiles with the gargoyle head on them.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, and those things shot far, dude. If I remember, and you didn't really lose them because they're big, so it's not like they're easy to find. And I remember, I sold it. I had it. I sold it at NJCC like a year and a half ago. I think I had one missile left, and the wheels, the black wheels that it had, they were all gouged up because I used to play with it on the sidewalk, and so that thing
chewed up.
it was all chewed up, it was chewed up like your big wheel wheels.
I was just
Remember
going to say,
those?
it's probably more like a big wheel.
Yep. And like the bottom was all scraped up and stuff. I remember Brammer's in the chat. He actually mentioned, I think it was him who mentioned it. Like he didn't realize until like much later that the sled came off the front of it. I think that was him who mentioned that. Yeah, if you didn't know, yeah, man, the sky sled was the front of that thing.
Yeah.
You could detach it from the front. I think it was
Now
him
you
who
know.
said that. So that was trying to think if there's any. I think I had the Wind Raider. That used to go into the bathtub because obviously it had an anchor on the front.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So
That's funny.
I mean, it looked like a boat. I don't think it floated though. It had holes in the bottom. Nothing else. I had the Roton as well. Chuck bought that from me. From NJCC. Had that for the longest time. But my friend had the attack track. Did any of you guys have the attack track?
Nope.
Dave, what are you smiling at, Dave?
I remember
Fucking with Ralphie in the chat
that was-
because he said I used to play with Merman and talk in that stupid voice, and I said you still talking the stupid voice. And he said, my wife says that too.
The the attack track was motorized.
Yep.
So that was pretty.
The thing about the attack track that drove me nuts was the way it was illustrated on the cartoon. It was like a giant van with those things that would like move, right? And then the toy did not look anything like it. You know,
Yeah,
the way it was.
and the toy was like had AI. It would like talk to them and stuff.
Yep.
In the show, the tank did. So you guys had mentioned Castle Grayskull and stuff, and I think that we've talked about this in the past of like repurposing playsets for things. And I was a big constructs nut, so like we would build this one base and we would use it for everything, type of thing. I just found something I've been looking for a while. I just finally typed in the exact things to find it on Google, and I want to
Going
share.
back on Google Maps, Brian.
No, on regular
Oh.
Google. Regular Google. I was wondering if you guys ever messed with or saw something like this called Astrolight.
It looks familiar.
So
No, I never had that.
from listings I've seen, this is from 1969, but like this right here, this is what we would repurpose for. We would build like a base out of this, and it would light up, and basically we would use this for He-Man, even for Transformers and stuff like that. And I'm going to be hard pressed not to go find this somewhere and buy it when the
Would
show's
be
over.
a good Fortress of Solitude.
Right.
Yeah, there was.
Or that,
big is it?
what's
Let me
that
check
city
my
that
things.
Omega protected? Crystal
That's
City?
right. The Crystal City.
It looks like the Fraggle Rock fucking pieces, and they used to put shit together in Fraggle Rock and eat it,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah. The
Anyway.
dozers.
Yep.
cool. Pretty cool looking. Anyway, just wanted to share that.
And I'm googling something myself really quick. I'm trying to. Okay, so what those reminded me of, Brian, was something called Capsella. If you guys saw those, they were like these it was almost like a. They're like gears and like these like big like kind of ball things, some electronics that you could build like vehicles or, and they were see through, so you could like see them like operating basically,
Yeah, the
right?
mechanics working, yeah.
Yeah. But some of the you could build some things out of those that kind of would fit as like base type stuff. I remember looking at.
Well, you can make vehicles. I have a box of them down in the crawl space, Gary, if you want to buy them from me.
A box of what? Capsella?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. No, I'm good, but it's
My
interesting.
robotics is in the same box.
Robotics is so good. Love robotics. Love robotics.
Dude, I used to make like these amphibious vehicles that they would basically drive into a deep puddle and then float, and then they have the propellers, and then drive out of the puddle. Sometimes I don't know. I learned all about gear ratios and stuff. I mean, it was kind of cool. Voltages and whatnot, because you could hook up the batteries in series or in parallel. Never mind, guys. Sorry. But
What's the next list? What's the next category?
I didn't go, but that's okay.
Okay, go,
No.
Gary, I'm sorry.
So I already said I had the Battle Armor He-Man was my He-Man. I had a regular Skeletor. I had a Battle Cat that I liked a lot, and then I had an Orko, and then the other two characters. One was a Trapjaw, and I remember when I found
Trapjaw was
him
cool.
finally. Yeah, I couldn't find him anywhere as a kid, and then I think there was a J.C. Penney's that we happened to be in for other stuff while we were in Chicago visiting my family there, and. Went down the little very limited toy aisle, and they had like just a huge wall. It felt like as a kid, but I'm sure it was probably just a couple pegs. But it was like Trapjaw was the only character they had. It was funny.
Wow.
So I was like, all right. I was so excited. Like I was almost like couldn't even speak. And my mom was like, don't worry. She knew how badly I was trying to find that character. So she's like, you can get one. Don't worry. We'll get it. So that was pretty cool. And then I had Buzz off, and I just liked him because he could fly, even though I hated how his claws were kind of lame and he couldn't really hold his weapon. It kind of just like you poked it, poked his little pincer through it, and you could kind of somewhat, be positioned there. But
Did you swoosh him around and go?
I didn't make swish, but he would fly a lot. It was pretty cool. I liked him. He had those little
Okay.
goggles on his head that you could take them off. So
This is. Yeah, I never had Buzz off. It's pretty. Look at him.
Buzz off, buzz off.
Was he a good guy or a bad guy?
Yeah.
Good guy.
he's a good guy. Here's another one though, Dave. Like that was interesting because his 2000X version of a toy was actually pretty badass looking.
Yeah, it
was.
It was
Pretty rad.
really cool. And then they did him in the classics. It was very
I had it. I just
true
never.
very true to the classic. But they did the head sculpt in that pack that your Grizzlor came in, and it really made it look a lot. Again, kind of a lot more adult and upscale. Interesting. All right, I'm going to do one more quick one because I don't know how many people had this line. But did any of you guys have Jace in the Wheeled Warriors?
Yep. I had very few of them.
When's that cartoon from?
It's like from '85, I think.
And what did it go long? Or was it
No,
just like a 1 year thing?
it was one of those 1 year seasons.
Right.
And the thing about the toys were they weren't even remotely close
Oh.
to the show. The show had all individual characters, a lot of there was like a Han Solo ripoff kind of guy that owned the ship that they flew around in, and it had magic and it had like it was very interesting. But the toys were just about the vehicles because the figures were like smaller than even a mask figure, and they were like they looked like something you get in a third party Transformer. Like human. That's really what they look like. They didn't have any faces or anything. They were in like these little like brown jumpsuits. Yeah.
Oh,
Like
but
me.
those look kind of cool. I remember.
But yeah, you could take them apart and you could take
See,
the frames off and like swap them and swap all
It
the
looks
pieces.
like a wannabe mask.
Yes and no,
Yeah.
but it was very Siege like. If Jose was here, he'd appreciate them because all the ports all around them you could rearrange to different weapons and add them and kind of. That was mine right there though. That was my favorite. Drill Sergeant was the one that I always.
I had this one as well.
Yeah,
I think
was
this is
mine.
the only one I had.
Yeah, I had a Drill
So I
Sergeant.
had two of them. I had the one with the claw.
Armed Force. Yep, that was a good one.
Yep, I had
That's a
him.
hero. It's a
And
hero
then I
one.
had the saw boss with the big saw blade. Yep, I had that
See, I didn't have any of the villains. Even as a kid, like that whole plant, kind of
Yeah.
thing, didn't really appeal to me. And
one. That was
they,
like my favorite one too.
I always remember they were like the Insecticons, right? Where you had like the
Mhm.
original of each of the vehicles, like, and then the rest of them were almost like clones that they grew.
So I'm
the
curious
lines.
about the fiction though. Did they end it or did it? Was
No, that was the thing. Is when it hit DVD, it never finished. Like it never brought the storyline to closure because it was one of those things where he was trying to track down his dad, who was trying to end world hunger, and that's where the evil creatures came from on the vines and all that kind of stuff. So, but it does have a good, very '80s intro song. If you ever get a chance to look it up on YouTube and stuff, kind of fit that like. 80s rock and roll mentality.
I don't think I even really got into the cartoon until after. I think I just saw the toys and was like, "Wow, these are cool." They're like, you can put them together. It's like a model, but not really. And then after that, I checked the cartoon out. And I'm like, this is nothing like the cartoon.
Yeah,
When did these come out?
I think they were like 85. I think.
Okay. No, I did not own any of those. Sorry, Gary.
Oh, look.
Interesting. All right, well.
Look, there's. What was this? Looks like some kind of giant walker that you could put your car on.
Yeah, they had a good guy version of that thing that was automated. It would walk, and you could put the vehicles on the top. And they had a bad one with this giant green brain.
there you
Yep.
go.
Yeah, top. And then they also had a giant base that was just a big square like treaded vehicle that would open up, but the thing was it could hold like 4 of like the car vehicles inside. That's pretty cool.
So those little, I remember the brain things were squishy. It was like green,
Yep.
squishy.
There's the base
Gross.
right there.
That's
Yeah,
That's the
there's-
base.
Yeah, that was the big treaded thing that you
Yep,
could like.
there you go, right there.
Had parking spots for like multiple of the small vehicles inside.
Dude, that's cool.
I have a box upstairs that has like a bunch of old, like, just trashed toys in them. And there's a bunch of parts for these in there.
So, it's funny that you say that. Like, my, as a kid, the Lego bins, there would be parts from other toy lines in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
guns, missiles.
Oh yeah.
So I still have all my Legos from a kid, and they have been moved from whatever cardboard box they were in to actual totes and stuff like that. And someday I'm gonna go through them, and I'm kind of curious about like what kind of little pieces are gonna be in there. Really kind of curious to see what's
It's
in
amazing that how you guys have toys. Like, you still have the toys from your childhood.
there. I was just opportune times. I was able to rescue them at opportune times.
Yeah.
So none of my I don't have any of my original toys except for like my Star Wars ones, which so when we got older, my mom gave all of the toys that were like still in good condition. She gave them to my cousins, and then I'm like, I don't know, 20, maybe like 24 years old. I went over to his house, and he's got my Darth Vader case. It still had my fucking name on it and everything, because my mom made a little tag and it put it on the inside of the handle. That was still on there, and I'm like, dude, these are my old fucking Star Wars toys. He goes, yeah. I'm like, tell me you'd give them back to me. He's like, I can't give them back to you. I'll sell them to you. I'm like,
Ooh. Entrepreneur.
but I mean, I might have spent $90 and I filled that case twice,
Yeah.
something like that.
I love those
Got
cases.
like a lot of the old ones back. There was some he wouldn't give up just because he only had one of them, and the only reason he did sell me what he sold me was because oh yeah, your mom gave me all like we already had these. So I'm like, well then what? Fucking give them to me. What the fuck? You already have them.
That's like a lost thing that we don't see more often is those like toy cases. So you can put your toys in.
I have a few of them. Like I think we have like 3 of the Darth Vader cases. I have the Transformers one. And I have one of the it's a little G.I. Joe one, and it holds like maybe 12 figures in it. It's real little, and it's plastic.
Did it go on your belt? Was it that case?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That case.
Yep. I remember that one. Yep.
I had a lot of like when I was really little. My number one go-to toy was like Hot Wheels, and I used to have thousands and thousands of like Hot Wheel cases. I remember that my mom I used to love Hot Wheels like when I was little, and like I would buy like at least 3 or 4 of them every time I check out because they were always on the checkout lane,
Mm-hmm.
right on the side with the gum and everything else, and I would buy these Hot Wheels and the Monster Hot Wheels and
Hot Wheels and some Big League Chew.
Yep. And she didn't mind because I guess back in the day with like 50 cents, right, something like that.
Probably not even that.
So how come you don't collect any type of diecast now? That's weird.
I don't know. Like I remember that I had a conversation with my mom, and this is when I was like say probably five years old. Like she said, like 5, 6 years old. I was really into Hot Wheels. Like I would love the Hot Wheels and the tracks, and she would buy me the tracks, the cases, and they were wheel cases, and God, everything. So
I remember
and
the
eventually,
wheels.
yeah, I eventually like came out of it, I guess, and that's when Star Wars hit, and Transformers and stuff like that. So I kind of went to the wayside with Hot Wheels when I got into action figures and stuff like that. And then the next big thing that I remember getting into, where I had everything and everything is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I remember that was like a whole big thing for us back right after, like in '89, '90s, buying all that stuff. But that's kind of like, but I remember how the Hot Wheels were. So like that's the thing. Like I remember that's how I would love to go digging in the crevices and the cracks in the attics of my mom's house and see if I could find something or one thing. But I can't begin. I know my dad has cleaned out my basement, and the only thing I know that we didn't clean out, that we haven't touched for a long time, is the attic in my garage. And he was like, he's looking to go up there and clean it out. And I was like, I told him, like, when you do, let me know, because he would just start throwing things out. He wouldn't care. Like, he wouldn't even tell me what he's throwing out. So I told him, like, let me know, because I want to go up there and just check to see if there's any. Because I know, like, there was times me and my brother would climb up there and play up there. So maybe there's a toy in the Pink Panther insulation
Oh, jeez.
that we would fuck around with all the time. Make you itch.
Next HasLab, they should make giant Darth Vader and C-3PO figure cases for
Yeah.
figures.
For
60 figures.
fucking Black Series. That would be ridiculous.
There's a HasLab project right there.
Yep. That's nuts. Like, find a way to like mount it on the wall.
Mount it
or
on the wall,
something.
yeah. Open it up. Make sounds when you open it or something. That'd be cool.
You're cool.
You're cool, JD.
You're all cool.
All right. Well, let's see what we got. It's a little after 9:30. That's kind of my just final visit down that nostalgic lane. So I don't know if you guys have anything else tonight.
Anyone have questions?
Nope. Quiet. Brammer's in there talking to himself.
Is he?
He
Yeah.
says
Yeah,
I'm
pretty much.
reading his love letters.
All right. So why don't we check out the other shows on the Cool Table Network?
Cool.
Fuck your caboose.
Thanks, Dustin.
Oh.
All right.
We're gonna have our next rock swap at the caboose.
A burning caboose.
Let's do it. Where you're at, and then we're going. How's that? Nothing else?
Cool beans.
All right. JD, where can they find you?
Pigment Surgery on Instagram and Xbox Live. Feel free to join us. I have a Destiny 2 clan, and we need players. It'd be great to have people to play with here and there. That would be fun. Join us.
Do it.
Be my friend, please.
I'll swallow your soul. No. Anyway. Shelf Gravy everywhere. Next Wednesday, all new show. Every Tuesday night here with these five fellows, and tomorrow night, tune in.
I suspect so.
I
have not heard otherwise.
Yeah.
What would you guys look at tomorrow?
A toy.
These are
Oh, yeah, that's right.
questions. I think I know what we're gonna do.
I'm not speculating.
Meow.
You know,
Dave, where can they find you?
You can find me here on Tuesdays, Energon Addict on Instagram and on Facebook, David Cologne.
Dom.
you can find me on Facebook, Dominic Grasso, in the groups, and here Tuesday nights with you guys. No longer at any beaches in New Jersey. That's the Monday was my last beach day. So
Why? What happened?
I don't know. I just don't think I'm. Been to the beach a lot this summer, so I'm kind of all beached out. Took a swim in the ocean, for one last swim, and just enjoyed.
Did you get mistaken for a shark again?
Yes, they
Whale?
harpooned me out of the out of the
I'm
water.
gonna say it.
Put me back in. Nah, but it's always fun. But hopefully, if there's a weekend that we're not doing anything, the weather's warm. I think there's going to be a couple of heat waves in September. Maybe one. Who knows? Halloween's on a Saturday.
Mother Nature knows.
Some good. Take some vacation days since I didn't go on any long vacation, so enjoy. How about you, Gary? Where can they find you?
Yeah, find me in the Facebook groups under Gary Allen, and then I'll hang out with you guys on Tuesdays. And that's pretty much where I'm at.
What happened
these
to the
days.
elbow? What happened to the elbow, Gary? Tell us.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know. It's got some ice on it. It's old
Getting
age.
old?
Yeah, I was
Getting
just gonna say it's just old age. It's just old age.
Listen, your Ford Mustang has a signal light. You don't have to keep your hand out the window. And make
I don't
those
have a
tests.
Mustang. Would you bite your tongue? Oh, come on.
I thought you had a what is it? Yeah, Mustang, but like
It's not a-
Johnny.
It's not a
Cobra Kai.
Mustang.
No?
Gary, everything that
Charger?
that looks like that's a Mustang.
Yeah.
No, I have a Challenger. It's very, very different, Dom. Come on.
Challenger. Okay, Challenger. Sorry. A Z28. Yeah, that's what you have.
Ass.
No. Gary was just cruising around all day looking for chicks, and he sunburned his elbow because he had his
Right, yeah.
When he had it out the window.
Outside. It's like, oh, so true.
That story sounds better.
You think they could see my triceps from here?
Oh man, have you guys ever done that though? Like gotten a trucker's tan? Like
Oh yeah.
I've done that. Like even with the window closed, like that's happened. Oh.
I
Well,
can't.
those-
My arm, like, the sun hits it and it's immediately like unbearably hot
And you move
because
away.
of the black
Yeah,
ink.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've gotten suntan arm on some long drives in the sun. Yes. Very nice. Who's next?
All right.
Who's
Oh
all
yeah,
of us?
you can find me at Brinklizer on Instagram and the Facebook groups, Brian Brink, and yes, multiple times here during the week. And
If you need a caboose to be found, Brian's your man.
that's right.
Yep.
I'll find-
You lose
I'll find-
something. Let Brian
find
know.
your caboose.
You guy.
All right.
Oh.
Where is the?
Push the button.
Say it with me now. Round